Hi guys, I'm Sanjeev. Last time I have told you about the negativity which is coming from the space through the dark matter, and we are directly exposed to the dark matter just because of the solar minimum was going on because all the planets are at the same side, right? So now one of my friend who lives in Jhansi, that's a part of Uttar Pradesh, and he called me. He told me that people are talking about a grand minimum or maybe a solar deep minimum. So what is that? I've gone through a couple of sites. I've gone through a couple of videos on YouTube what people have uploaded. So I don't know what they do actually, but I got one video, one small video from NASA Gada, and no specific reason was given. I have seen the interview of one lady, and she told us like that they don't know how long this solar minimum is going on. Last time when the deep solar minimum happened, that was in I think 1615, and that continued till 1615, and there was a Maunder. The name of the solar grand minimum was this Maunder, right? And that was the last known solar minimum. So it is not like that. This is a very, very simple science. Like as I told you last time, this time also this is happening. Like what solar minimum and maximum we are getting every 10 years or 11th year. Uh, that happens because of the motion of Jupiter and Saturn. But now, what maximum and deep minimum and maybe a giant maximum is happening? That happens because of the farthest planets, which are providing a shadow support to the Earth and which are actually preventing the dark matter to enter into the sun with the same wavelength and frequency. So, actually, this is happening because of Uranus and Neptune. So, we'll see how it is starting, like how it will happen, when it has started. Like it was started in 1979. Then we got one acute position in 1998, where the alignment of Sun, Uranus, and Neptune, they were in the single line, right? So let's see with these details. So let's discuss about this date. This date is important because I was born of this date, 1st December 1979. Another special thing is in this solar deep minimum cycle, this was the date where Earth was getting a shadow from Mars, right? And after that, whatever planets were there, it was just slipping from the shadow of other planets, right? So it is not directly imposed to the dark matter right now, but if you see a bigger picture where Jupiter is there, so now if Earth is moving forward, moving further, you see now Earth has started moving, so it's getting a shadow from the Jupiter. So now it is not exposed to the dark matter. If you see much bigger picture, now it is getting a shadow from the Saturn. Saturn is at the left side, white color. After this, whatever cycle the Earth will cover, Earth will be exposed to the dark matter directly, which is coming from the space, and this will bring the darkness. This is what we have discussed last time. But actually, when Jupiter and Saturn are both at the same side and Earth is not getting any shadow from another side on the orbit, Earth will be exposed to the dark matter, and this will be known as the solar minimum. So now you know at least that planet is moving, that is getting some support from the Mars, and then it is slipping from the shadows, right? After the Mars, Jupiter is there, then Saturn is there, and then it is again slipping. It is directly exposed to the dark matter. Can we see what is the position of Uranus and Neptune in that particular scenario, and when they are at the same line? So if you see 98, all these two planets are in the same line, and Saturn and Jupiter are also at the same side. So rest of the cycle of Earth on its orbit, the Earth will be directly exposed to the dark matter. Let's see this. Now, this is the position of Earth on 1st December 1998 when we achieved an acute position where our farthest planets are at the same side in the single line with the Sun. So they were not providing any support to the Earth for rest of the orbit. When Mars and Saturn, they provide the support. So that's why we get a solar minimum or solar maximum because of the Mars and Saturn. But if you talk about the deep solar minima and maxima that we get because of the farther units, planets. So these are the Jupiter and Saturn. And this was also the condition of solar minima. We are nearby a minima 1998. Anybody can check. We are supposed to get a minima that time, right? And this is the position of Uranus and Neptune. They are in the same line from the Sun, and that's why if you see, if Saturn and Jupiter at the same side, Uranus and Neptune are the same side, and if this time if Earth is moving further and if Mars is not providing any support for rest of the orbit, the Earth will be directly exposed to the dark matter, and which is harmful for Earth in many senses. But again, a reduction in temperature will happen. Whatever is the reduce in the temperature, that is going to be a significant change. So now the most important part is why you should trust me. Because everybody is asking for proof. A lot many scientists are working there, in lot many space agencies and research laboratories just to prove their efforts. Somebody is working for last 40 years, somebody is working for last 30 years. So it's not about the efforts, it's about the right information given to the people, right? So when I'm making any statement, I must have something logical, right? It should come to you. So the most important part is if something has happened this time, this is supposed to happen every time whenever we are getting the deep minimum, right? So whenever we are getting any kind of solar minimum, what we are getting in every 11 years, you will see Jupiter and Saturn are going to be at the same side, right? You can ask any of the research laboratory, any of the space agencies about this, you will get only this detail. This is one. The solar minimum is coming in every 11 years. You know that Jupiter is taking almost 30 years for one cycle around the sun, right? And there is a difference of, I think, 12 to 15 years. And Saturn, I don't remember much as I don't study, I don't learn much. Secondly, if you want to know about the solar grand minimum, it happens in every 170 years, right? And it will be effective during a span of time almost 70 to 80 years at least. Because if you do half of the 170, it comes to 85 years at least. So half of the cycle, what those planets are covering towards each other, that period, grand solar minimum will work. Rest of the half period, grand solar maximum will work, right? So we can check if the same thing happened in 1650 to 1750, right? Let's go through this. So you can see the date, 1645 is going on, and every planet is in the motion. You can see the Uranus, you can see the Saturn, you can see the Neptune, and this is a bigger part. Earth is visible, Jupiter is visible, and Saturn is visible. Now let's reduce it. See their further planets. Now Uranus and Neptune both are working. Let's see in the long term what happens. Now these are moving fast. Now you see both are at the same side, and where this effect is getting minimum when they are going far. Now we'll stop at 15. This is 17, 16. Now you can see they have almost covered. This is 90 plus 45, 135 degree angle from the sun. If you see, this is where the maximum is about to start, right? But this minimum has started when uh, when they were coming together, they were coming closer. So this is a main hack. It will happen every time. So now you can actually give the dates, even months and years when the grand solar minimum is starting. So let's come to the point. This is not really hard to predict the dates or months or years of the solar minimum. This is not really hard to predict how long it will take, and this is not really hard to find out when the solar minimum and solar maximum is taking place. This is an easy science, and I have tried to think about this also. Why we are not able to count on it? Uh, do you remember one question? I have inquired on Google. I didn't get the satisfactory answer. I have seen some videos also, but I was not satisfied with the answer. What people are telling us that sunlight is coming from the sun, and because of that, we feel hot or cold, right? This is quite confusing because we get winters when we are very close to the sun. We are not supposed to have winters when we are closer to the sun. Uh, we are getting summers when we are farthest from the sun. So we are not supposed to do that, right? Because we are far, so we are supposed to get winters that time. So there is a reverse science. What we follow is it means that atmosphere is getting warm because uh, we are getting sunlight from the sun. This is not right because in summers also, if you travel by plane at the height of 10,000 meters, 10 kilometers, right? Uh, you touch your window and you will find a very cold temperature. Even your pilot will announce a very cold temperature outside. So this is not possible if sunlight is coming directly. It is making the atmosphere hot. So without making upper atmospheric layers hot, it cannot make lower layers hot. So we need to work on this. I think everybody who's involved in this kind of research, they must know the right concept, right things about the Earth's atmosphere, how it is working, how the solar system is working. And if you know that, you can really know about the dark matter. What is it? How it works? And what are the elements working with it? Thanks for watching. If you like it, please let me know. And if you don't like it, please raise your questions. I request you to have only logical questions. I'll post some more videos for you. And yes, one important video I wanted to put before that, actually, I wanted to start my YouTube channel. But yes, this is important. Our time is hacked. You know that? Your watch, every machine, it is hacked. So if the time duration in a daytime, suppose if it is not happening 24 hours, a day you get is if it is 15 hours or 16 hours, your watch will divide it into 24 hours and you will never feel that you have spent a day with 15 hours. So we need to study a little bit, then only we'll be able to understand this. Soon I'll send you a video about this. Thank you. Thanks for watching.